Okay, but I'm noticing that I have this greeting, which is specified directly inside the main function. So would it be possible for me to actually move this greeting over here? So I could possibly use a constant string greeting defined like this, and which is, oops, not this. So this portion right here, define it like this, and then use greeting over here instead of hard-coded text, and build again. Apparently I need to include a string header over here. And the error message that I'm getting is multiple initialization which is related to the fact that I'm doing this ping pong inclusion multiple times. If I get rid of it and say build, it will be fine. And I told you that what happens is that sometimes this header file may include another header file, which in turn includes this header file again. So there could be not subsequent inclusion of the same file, but recursive inclusion of the same file, which presents a problem. You can see that I'm trying to move a constant value named greeting into my header file, use it in my program, but at the same time, if by mistake I include this file multiple times, it gives me that I run into a problem related to multiple attempts to initialize the same constant value and other error messages. In other words, even though I'm attempting something like this, I still want to be able to make it work. And this is solved through the so-called header guards. So let's cover this topic of the header guards. We will create a header guard, and the header guard look like this. If not defined, pingpong.h, and it's the reason I keep that comment, that it's easier for me to create this header guard. See, I'm creating this symbol pingpong h included, which corresponds to the name of the file. And I will also once highlight, if you press Shift Control U, it will make it uppercase. The preprocessor symbols are, should be uppercased as a general rule. So so I'm telling the preprocessor, if this symbol is not defined, so we can check this symbol whether it's defined or not. We can say define this symbol. And to complete this, we need to also add and the if at the bottom of our header file. And so, as a general rule, every header file that you add, which is very easy to do, just add new header file to your files, start including it like this, and you can use it. But remember that you must add something like this to every single header file. And if you copy and paste the header file itself, remember to change this header guard macro the symbol to be unique as it corresponds to the name of the file, because if you don't, then you will be getting other problems. So this time, when the first time the preprocessor will see the first include, of course it will go here, open this file, and find this directive, preprocessor directive. Every preprocessor directive starts with the hashtag or pound sign, right? And it will say, oh, this is not defined, so it will define it, and it will, like, this will basically collapse, will go away as a result of preprocessor work. And this is something that will be actually physically included in place of this line right here, right? So this physically will replace this line right here. So this will be done over here directly inside the main file. So then and of course including these function declarations. Then the second time the preprocessor will find this include and will go here and says, is this symbol defined? And the answer will be yes, it is defined. So if not defined, will basically the way it works is that it will be looking for and if, and the result of this being defined already will be that this entire content inside this header file will simply collapse. And of course preprocessor collapses every single comment, and like this everything gets collapsed, and this will be simply removed as a result of preprocessing. And look what just happened. This header file, the second time preprocessor is trying to go through its content, will end up with empty content. And so this will be the result, and therefore this include will collapse into an empty line as a result of preprocessing, right? So the first time everything got processed normally, the second time the outcome of this include is empty or a bunch of blank lines, right? So this is how the header guard works, and I'll just bring it back the way it was, hopefully, right? So I can you can see that as a result of it, all subsequent includes collapse into a bunch of empty lines. So therefore, now this header guard provides the facility so that the same header file is now safe to include directly or indirectly from other header files as many times as you want. So just remember, when you add the header file to your system, just remember to immediately go ahead and add the header guard to it. Now, typically, we do not type these types of comments inside the header file. Obviously, you should know that the header guard is the header guard. And by the way, if we open a system a file like this, right? If I attempt to go to this and actually doesn't find it, maybe I need to build it. But I'm just saying that if you look inside library header files, let me try again to go to this. For some reason doesn't find it. Sometimes it happens, maybe because I have symbolic information disabled in my configuration of Visual Studio. Anyway, you will find that these files internally also contain the header guards.